So a subject that's really trendy these days is COVID. Because for once, we are not the bad guys in the story. Because when we look at all the other problems on Earth, like climate change, environmental destruction, wars and conflicts, we humans are always in the middle of the chaos. So this raises the eternal question, to know whether we humans are fundamentally good or bad. And if we are good, why we behave in such a divisive and destructive way? So to this question, there's an Australian biologist called Jeremy Griffith that brings an answer to it. He basically explains the human condition and human behavior. And what he says is that we humans are not only good, but we are the hero of the whole story of life on Earth. So basically he's saying that we suffer from a conflict within us. And that it's a conflict between our instincts and our intellect. And that the conflict emerged when we acquired our conscious mind or intellect. So obviously the intellect is an awesome tool. It allows us to understand the world around us. It allows us to have insight and to have a personal experience. And so we are the only animals that have this ability to understand things, and it's really amazing. But it came with a big problem, with a drawback. It's that ever since we started thinking for ourselves and behaving independently, we were starting to feel guilty and worthless. We have this anxiety within us that we couldn't explain. And so what he's explaining is that before we developed our intellect, we were relying on our instincts, like all the other animals. And so they were telling us how to behave. They were giving us a path and a direction to follow. And for them, the world is pretty simple. Either you blindly obey and you're good, or you disobey and you're bad, and they make you feel bad. So when we developed our intellect, we had to liberate ourselves. We had to understand the world by ourselves and experience it. So we disobeyed our instincts, and they made us feel bad. They made us feel guilty. And we never could explain where this guilt was coming from, why we were feeling worthless inside. And we all go through this, especially when we are teenagers, and we start feeling guilty, worthless, and we're full of self-doubt, and we don't understand the world around us, and we're full of all these questions and all this anxiety and depression, and we cannot explain it. But now at last we can. Now we know why we feel the way we do, and why we have to constantly prove that we are worthwhile, that we are worthy beings and good beings. So really, when you start to understand this information and the depth of it, it's really so empowering, and you jump with joy, and it makes you feel, you realize how awesomely brave we humans are. Because for 2 million years, we've developed our conscious brain, and we've tried to understand the world around us. And meanwhile, we were criticized by our instincts, and we were feeling guilty, and we didn't know why we were feeling guilty, but we kept going. And this is really awesome. And now we finally have the ultimate tool, the ultimate understanding of ourselves. And when you know that you are fundamentally good and worthwhile, like all the pain, all the anxiety, all the doubt just pours out of your body, and you feel so amazing. So I really urge you to check this information on humancondition.com, and you can read the book Freedom, The End of the Human Condition. It's available for free, and so by the author Jeremy Griffith. Anyways, until then, take care.